brand isn't just your logo. The brand is so much more. What's your position? What's your language? What's your go-to-market
Who's your
strategy?
audience?
Exactly. So much more goes into it.
Launching a beauty brand sounds exciting, right? Until you hit the reality of high cost, long lead times, and the endless supply chain headaches. But what if I could tell you that you could start your own beauty brand in just minutes without that massive upfront investment? In fact, it'll be just a minimal investment. Today, we're breaking down the secrets behind launching and scaling a beauty brand fast, the rise of DTC brands, and how simple, and I say simple, private labeling is changing the game. Our guest today, he's the co-founder and CMO of Blanka. He's helping entrepreneur, beauty professionals, and D2C brands start and scale their own product lines. He has over 20 years experience in marketing and creative strategies, and he has done it all, running his own agency, leading marketing teams for major retail brands, and now building one of the most innovative platforms in e-commerce. And our guest today is Adam Chuntz, and we'll get to him in a second. But first, let's have a word from our sponsor, and then we'll talk to Kels. Tired of negative reviews dragging down your star rating and sales? Tracefuse has your back. Tracefuse specializes in removing non-compliant Amazon reviews the right way. I'm talking 100% compliant with Amazon terms of service. And with over 11,000 reviews removed for 400 plus brands, they know what it takes to protect your reputation and boost conversions. And here's the best part. You only pay for performance. That means you only pay for reviews they successfully remove. No contracts, no monthly fees, just results. Plus, as a Lunch with Norm listener, you get 2 reviews removed for free. Ready to clean up your reviews? Visit tracefuse.ai. That's Tracefuse, TRACEFUSE.ai. Adam, how are you?
I'm really great. How are you doing, Norm? Thanks for having me.
So we have never met, and we're going to just, this will be fun. I love the topic today, but, just having a good VA, they reached out. I didn't know you. I got to know you through your bio, and it looked great. But just because of outreach, now hopefully this expands each of our network. But it was great to see. So I get a lot of really crappy, outreach people that, the person's never even looked at the show or know what the show is about. So, okay, I don't care if you're a minor. I don't care if you're, do this, that, or the other thing, but this fit in perfectly to what we're doing, which was great. So, thumbs up to your outreach team.
Well, thank you really very much. And thank you for the accolades on the intro. I feel like that was a really nice little piece you did to introduce me, but appreciate it. I'm happy to be here.
No problem. I mean, one of the things that got my attention when I was, looking at your bio and going through things, I've been involved with this in the past. I've seen sort of the death of it, and then all of a sudden it's starting to come back. And I'm talking about 15 years ago. There was just a ton of private label companies out there that were doing different things. It could be beauty, it could be supplements. Supplements never went away. Still, very heavy in America, where if people want to buy American, they stick that label on there, get their supplements. But you never know if the supplement company sucks or not, right? And this is interesting because I was going to ask you about the beauty brand and how you go about making sure that the formulation happens, but I'm getting ahead of myself. So why don't you explain what you do, and then we'll get into all this other stuff.
That sounds great. Yeah, just before I get into it, it's interesting to have seen what's happened in the private label industry, and the sort of negative stigmas that have been unfortunately attached to them, because it's not all like, it's actually really, really great product that's out there, which is one of the reasons why we started Blanka in the first place. So What the heck is Blanka, right? Blanka, we just saw an opportunity in the market, really seeing what was happening in the beauty industry and how the large industry that has been there forever, the Lauriers, the Estee Lauders, these giants, were starting to get their legs cut out from underneath them by small independent brands and huge growth. Like, this is a 700 plus billion-dollar industry. It's or supposed to be by 2027. We're like 25% of that growth is being taken by independent brands, but no one was servicing those independent brands. To do this traditionally was really expensive. So we saw an opportunity to kind of add tech into a really old school industry and automate the process of starting or scaling a product line, focused on beauty products that are all sourced in North America. So really high quality, understanding where it all comes from. And we do it all without any minimums, and we handle all the logistics. So it's as simple as, uploading your logo on the platform, generating all the product shots in a few seconds, selling that product on your store. We get the order, we print it and personalize it for the customer, and we ship it to them, all without any minimums, with extremely high quality products.
That's crazy. Like, we just had a podcast the other day. Kels Krim was on it, I believe, and he was talking about, I think I asked him a question about this. I've done a lot of sourcing. I grew up in manufacturing. My family was all manufacturing. I worked in all of the factories, doing all the setups. And one thing I know, coming back, we owned a couple of facilities in Taiwan and still have a factory in China, but China knows how to treat private label sellers. Oh, okay, 250 minimum or 500. For the most part, try doing that in North America. You're basically, as they laugh, and kick you out of the factory because your minimums are too low. I think that's a huge problem in North America right now with manufacturers. So you saying that you can do this with minimal or none, you're receiving pretty much zero, right? You can order one.
Yep. Exactly.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, that's the beauty of kind of combining it through a technology platform and us handling all the risk that's associated with private label and the minimums you're speaking to in North America, by being able to pass that on to our customers.
Check out my latest video on the looming TikTok shop ban. Watch my newest episode right here with Michelle Barnum-Smith. And don't forget to subscribe. Our new episodes drop every Monday. So you must have a sliding scale going from 1 to 10,000, right?
Yeah, totally. Like, if a merchant of ours wanted to order 10,000, yeah, it changes things a little bit. But in general, people come in, they start with one, they do a sample, and we have over 450 different products to choose from. And as you scale, we can scale with you. That's kind of like the best part of it. We do that across, we think of beauty really broad and holistically. So we've got, color cosmetics and makeup. We've got skincare. We've got hair care, bath and body. We've got some men's products. We've got some great beard products. Norm, I'll have to send you some afterwards.
All right.
A quick branded lunch with Norm.
Cigar scented? Possibly?
Not cigar. We do have a cedar tobacco scent, which is really good. And so on and so forth. So really, we wanted to create this huge offering for people to be able to really curate their own product line however they want and do it without any minimums and really no risk.
When I was taking a look, the VA that you hired for outreach, some of the topics were getting a beauty product up and running in 5 minutes. And, then in brackets, it had seriously, right? But that's the beauty of it. I've been involved with private label selling forever. And sometimes to get that initial order out, tested, inspected, shipped over from China takes months and months and months. Sometimes, and I know people have written me or put comments in during the podcast that they what if things to death. So it takes years and they don't even get a product out there. So I see what you're doing as something that is incredible, because you can test out whatever product out of those 450, get it up on Amazon or go to Shopify, drive some traffic over there, see how it sells.
Yeah, exactly. And the majority of the people that use Blanka are usually connecting directly to Shopify or Wix, where we have one-click integrations. So it's
Yeah.
super seamless, really, really simple. And that's exactly it. It's being able to quickly spin that up, connect it to the store literally in minutes, and you're off to the races and selling. And you can start, whether you're existing, you already have a few products, maybe you sell clothing already and you want to sell some skincare, you want to test out a different type of product to your audience, you can just plug in Blanka and then right away start doing that without any impact to your business. It's only cart upsell opportunities or gifts with purchase. There's tons of different ways to slice and dice it.
What about if somebody comes to you and says, "Hey, I want beard oil, but I want a specific scent." Can you do custom formulations?
Yeah. So we have another side of the business called the lab or Blanka Labs. That's anything more custom than just the private label side of things. So we can start off really small with really low minimums, not one, but low, and we can do customizations like that. Like if it's an existing formula and we just want to change the scent, or we want to maybe change the package that it comes in, we can get down pretty low, like sometimes as low as 250, maybe less here or there
That's for
units, but
custom.
like
Yeah.
yeah, and then we can do all the way through to complete custom formulation. So you come to us and you're like, I have an idea. I want to do this, this oil that does this with this particular ingredient. We have a whole team of chemists and different labs that we work with to really grow that up too.
I really want to know what you're thinking. So subscribe and leave a comment saying, "I subscribed," and I'll personally reply to your comment. Good, bad, or ugly. Can you see this working? There used to be a ton of this. It's cut way back now, but free with mailer, free with
Yeah.
it's a free plus shipping, and you used to see this all the time. A bracelet, $29.99 value, $9.99 just cover the shipping or something like that. Bracelet costs $3. Do people do that with your products?
No, they don't, but that would be an interesting way to approach it.
We'll talk after.
Yeah, we do like we pass on our savings because we buy in such bulk and
Mhm.
volumes. We're able to pass on really low cost per unit through to our customers, and then we provide like a recommended sales price just based on kind of like a normal like MSRP
Mhm.
multiple. But on average, our merchants mark up about 180 to 190%. So, almost four times or double where the natural cost is. But
Yep.
it's all about whatever they want to sell it as. So if they wanted to position it as free just with shipping and just kind of eat a bit of the margin there,
Yeah.
you'd get through a lot for sure.
Those numbers that you just said, 100 to 180%, that is crazy because there's
Mm,
so many. First, Amazon takes away so much nowadays,
mhm,
but there's so many people that go overseas. I was talking to a client probably a year or two ago. Same rule applies, is that they went over, this guy had to buy 5,000 bottles. He just went to the wrong supplier over there. Great quality product, customized it, but he didn't have the margins to survive.
mhm.
So he could do it on his own, which he didn't have the money to drive traffic. So he kind of lost both ways. But with this, if you've got those types of margins that you can play with, wow, that gives you a whole new opportunity to market and to get some results.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what we wanted, right? We wanted to really put the power in anyone's hands to be able to do what, Kylie Jenner did and Rihanna did recently with Fenty. They have celebrity status, they have money to back it.
Yeah.
Kylie Jenner's cosmetics started off as private label at the beginning and then saw it was successful and now it's like one of the largest, if not the largest, independent out there.
I saw a show, nothing against her brand. Her brand's fantastic, but the counterfeits
Mm.
and what happened with the lip balm. Did you hear about that?
I've read an article on it recently, but I should
It was
dive in
horrible.
deeper.
This counterfeit company, they were selling it off of a blanket in New York City. Cops
Oh
caught them.
no.
But the problem was it interacted with the lips, and they either had a really bad reaction or it reacted in a way it acted like super glue.
Oh no.
Yeah,
That's
it's crazy.
horrible.
It's crazy stuff. So, when it comes like, I'm always leery when even to buy any topicals from China. I've done it. I have I've worked with a lot of different companies, and I know that I get a lot of arguments back and forth, especially in our WhatsApp group whenever I say that. But I don't know. For me, I want to get a North American product
Mm.
when you're doing any type of topical product.
Yeah, that was
And I know my fears are, probably at 0.001%, but for some reason, I'm a fossil and I just hear all these horror stories and uh, are you thinking about sourcing beauty products from China? Well, watch Adam break down the hidden risks and why more brands are shopping in the States. So you have all the private label product. For people that want to go and order from you, what about price? Are you competitive with China?
I mean, it's kind of like comparing apples and oranges in a
Mhm.
way where the product, because it is all made in North America, there's a difference in the fact that like the minimums are there. If you were to go to China, you're going to pay probably much less per unit, but you're going to be fronting a huge cost of minimums, as you were alluding to earlier with that friend of yours talking about 5,000 units. So technically, you get a unit price down, but then you also have to factor in like a landed cost of getting that over from China,
Right.
freight, all that stuff. Don't even let's not even go into tariffs because it's a big unknown
Yeah, yeah.
at this point. It changes every day. But in general, our costs are really competitive with anyone else in North America because we, like I mentioned earlier, we can buy in such bulk, we could pass those savings on um, to the end consumer. Where our pricing slightly kind of differs, or where the other costs are, is it's a membership model to be part of Blanka. So it's really nominal. It starts as low as $39 a month, and that's kind of it. And it goes up to about 149 a month, depending on what you want to sell, how much level of customization and customer support that you want and need.
Yep.
But really nominal cost. But that's the only other cost that's associated with us. So really low cost to get started.
Yeah, still, if you can get just one product or test it out, get 100 units, that's
Mhm.
not bad at all. So the other issue that happens on Amazon, probably the same thing when you go D2C, is there's been so many Me Too products.
Mm.
There's nothing different about them. So let's say, and I've seen this in the supplement industry in North America, where
Mhm.
the exact same designers are designing the exact same labels, except one might be a German Shepherd, one might be a Golden Retriever on the jar, but you know where it's coming from. It's the same 16-ounce jar that has the supplements in it. Can you create something different? Can you do custom packaging to stand out from the crowd?
Yeah, yeah, we definitely can. That's kind of part of the Blanka Labs side of things where we can do full customization, as simple as just changing the packaging. So we can do all that. Like it does have small minimums, but we can be really creative, and we also have access to over 5,000 other different private label options through our supplier network that we deal with. So that it's kind of endless.
Yeah.
But what I would say to that, like the differentiation is this is the age old problem, so to speak, but it's also an opportunity where you think of, you know, the Nike Reeboks of the world, the Nike Adidas of the world. It's a running shoe. What's the differentiation? Quite often, it's brand and like how that connects with people. So what we try to communicate through to our merchants through some, education is it's all about like building your community, building a narrative, and actually like that's your distinguishing feature. At the end of the day, lipstick is a lipstick. Like there's not going to be huge differentiation there. It's going to serve the same purpose. But if your brand really has that like equity and they resonate with your values and they understand why you're doing this, that's where like you really get that differentiation.
So let's talk a little bit about the small guy, small brands, and some of the challenges that they face right now in e-commerce. You want to go through a few things that you're seeing?
Yeah, for one, the differentiation as we were talking about
Yeah.
is definitely like it sounds easy. I can spit it out like that. Yeah, just create a brand and create a community. That part takes time and it takes authenticity and it takes, I know it's kind of a buzzword these days but it takes work. Like you can't just turn on a brand and expect traffic and sales. You have to put effort into building your community, building out those sales channels, whether that's doing things, marketing through social, working with UGC creators or influencers, or it's doing things more guerrilla. And I think that's one of the major challenges, getting people to see your brand, building that brand awareness.
Yeah, we had Jeff Sass on Marketing Misfits last week, I think, and he's a marketing guru building top brands. Really interesting guy to talk to. And I'm a branding guy from way back as well. And whenever I see a good quality product and either they're charging too less or they just don't have a great brand, like it sucks. And there are two products that one's really going crazy and the other one is not. And I'll give you an example. Dr. Squatch. Dr. Squatch now is a household name. They got started years ago selling block bar cold processed soap when everybody was using liquid. Then when people started to see that it was working, they had a ton of competitors that came out. And if you take a look, they didn't get on Amazon for a while, but when they were selling their just like they got everything now, but just their soap, they had great. They went after like sex, right? That sells everything, but they just had those awesome commercials, the brand, the packaging that they had. Other soap companies just weren't doing that, and they fell by the wayside. And there might have been one or two or three or five, but hundreds fell by the wayside because they went to Fiverr and got some guy to do their branding for $25.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know about you, but a brand is so important to understand the brand, to get it laid out properly. It's not a $25 job. Like I know with my other company, and we paid $5,000 20 years ago for brand development, and we're constantly on it. So it's so important. Like everything that you're doing, the marketing and brand development, it goes hand in hand.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think the main takeaway from that is a brand isn't just your logo. The
Right.
logo is a logo. It's the mark. It's how someone recognizes you. But the brand is so much more, right? And that's what you were talking, working with an agency to build like a brand platform that works on, what's your position, what's your language, what's your
Who's
go-to-market
your audience?
strategy. Exactly. So much more goes into it. So I guess another problem, challenge, so to speak, that e-commerce, independents and small players have these days is also just being able to build an actual like narrative around what they're selling, which is a counterpart to brand, but it's actually like showing the consumer like what the product is, why they need it, what problem it's solving. Pretty old formula, but it works, and so many people forget that.
Mm.
So I feel like they want to just sell way too many things, and instead of just focusing on like maybe a unique way to solve a problem or position it that it's a unique way to solve a problem. I feel like that's a big challenge these days.
Yeah. And you also mentioned tariffs.
Yeah.
So, yeah, a lot of people came to Canada for this type of product. I know people went to Mexico. They have tons of, like, again, going down the beauty side and soaps and just different types of beauty products. Tariffs, it's a different world. So being able to work in North America, source in North America, lead times must be incredible. Like, what are you looking for? I place an order today. When do I get my product?
Yeah. So we, again, zero minimums for a personalized product. We do turn them around very quickly. And as few as 3 business days before it ships, up to 9 business days. That's sort of the difference of our membership plans that we have.
Yep.
Priority kind of order processing and then shipment. But in general, we can be, in the customer's hands within about 10 days or so without any minimums. So that's kind of like that step. What we do encourage and what we see is as our merchants start to gain traction with a certain product, we encourage them to order inventory so that they can pick any sort of volume they want, but we do have like bulk discounts to help with that turnaround and speed. So once we have inventory on hand, which we also warehouse for free, we can just pick and ship it like a normal 3PL would. So that speed to market's much faster, where we can actually pick and ship it within 24 hours and ship it out.
One of the strategies that we tell people to use is to work with their manufacturer, have an order. This is coming from China. So you have your initial order. Let's say it's 1,000 units. Put 500 over in Amazon. When it hits a trigger, let's say it's 250 or whatever, 150. The warehouse puts the next 500 in, and we get to work with the manufacturer in China who's already got an order with a 10 or 20% deposit on it ready to fly. Once that comes over, then they put it into manufacturing again. Is that something that you can do? Like somebody wants to order 1,000 units, put 500 into warehousing. Is that possible?
Yeah, for sure. We have that happen quite often, actually. Um, we do have our own warehouse and fulfillment facility, but we also, a lot of our merchants like to have us ship them their inventory, then they distribute it however they're going to, whether that's um, putting it into a 3PL. Some are on Amazon, they're using an FBA, or they're doing their own shipping and fulfillment out of their wherever, their
Right.
office or whatnot. Another is like existing storefronts, because we work with merchants like that have a beauty salon, for example. Consider that a storefront. So they would sell their own branded product line that we would handle the online component of their products, but then they would handle in-person sales. So it's a bit of a hybrid, but yeah, we can do anything up to, thousands of units at a time.
I'm working, and this is I should probably talk to you about afterwards, but I'm working with a client right now who is infusing oil into some herbs. She was just asking me, should I bring the herbs over lightweight, get the oil, and just find a bottling company to do it?
Mm.
Do you do bottling?
We don't, but we do through Blanka Labs. So like we work with a network of suppliers and manufacturers, like I was saying, so we can do all of that. So it's
Okay.
one of those things. And quite often we do have merchants that already have a formula, so to
Yep.
speak, or like call it a recipe or what have you. That's always owned by, our customer at the end of the day, but we can facilitate getting that through to manufacturing and testing, and then also go through all the compliance and FDA approvals and all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, short answer, yeah.
Perfect. All right. We're at the bottom of the hour, just a little over. If you're listening for the first time, we have something at the top of the hour called the Wheel of Kelsey. And that's where we give away a really cool prize, usually by our guest. And today, no exception, we do have that. What are we giving away?
Any membership that we have with Blanka, we offer a 14-day free trial for anyone. But up today, we're going to offer up a month free. And we also have a discount code for anyone else for sample orders to get 15% off your sample orders. So
Perfect. So,
that code is lunch with Norm.
all right.
Simply.
Lunch with Norm.
Pretty
Easy enough to remember.
Yeah.
So it's kind of 2 for 1. We're going to have one big winner who's going to get a month to play around with the platform. And then we've also got the 15% off for samples. So to get this, you have to enter, and that's hashtag Wheel of Kelsey. You can tag 2 people and you get that second entry. So also, you probably already guessed, this is a pre-record, but we are monitoring it live. So if you do have questions, if you're interested in this type of manufacturing, let us know. Put your comments into the comments section. And if you like what you hear so far, give us a like. Kels, let's go to a sponsor. Hey, Amazon, Walmart, and TikTok sellers, we're in Q4, and I know the pressure's on. So how do you rank higher and sell more during the busiest time of year? Well, as a certified Amazon partner agency, AZRank has the expertise and proven strategies to take your projects to the top, driving visibility and sales across all platforms. With a proven expertise in optimizing search rankings, AZRank guarantees your products stand out during this critical shopping season. You can email AZRank today at hello@azrank.com. That's AZRANK.com. And don't forget to mention the Beard Guy sent you, and that's going to unlock an exclusive discount. Do you think you know your audience? Well, guess what? Your audience isn't who you think they are. Watch Adam as he explains how brands misjudge their customers and ultimately they lose sales because of it. So, Adam, let's talk a little bit more about some of the where e-commerce or entrepreneurs have gone wrong. There's a lot of people that I know that I've met aren't getting into the game because they did it wrong the first time and they just lost whatever investment they put into it.
Yeah, I think, one of the things that stuck in my brain, comment you made earlier, was around knowing your audience.
Mm,
And I don't think people spend enough time as they're thinking about starting a business or growing their business to really learn and discover who their audience is, not who they necessarily want it to be. Really diving into finding like that niche, or if you are already an existing business, analyzing who your actual customers are, not who you think they are. So often people just continue to go down a route of being like, nope, that's our customer because it's the customer they want instead of the customer that's actually
right.
buying their product.
I can't agree more. Kelsey, I don't know if you can put the prompt up, but markthegrass.com, he's got a prompt there to help build an avatar. And I'll give you an example, Adam. So I think I'm kind of a smart guy. A lot of people don't think so, but I put out a brand and it was soap. So I put out this soap and it was selling, it was doing well. And I checked out the avatar and I checked out the true demographics, 180 degrees opposite. I was marketing 100 or pretty much 100% towards women and a certain demographic. They weren't buying. It was men
Mm.
for their girlfriends. And all my marketing is all using these different colors. So we had to change it, and make it more for gifting. And it's night and day.
Yeah, I mean, but you looked at the data and you made a change instead of continuing down a route that you didn't think that you weren't prepared to steer off of.
It was okay. So if I didn't look at it, it would have stayed being okay and that would have been it. But just
Yeah,
one little move, one little change can make a huge difference.
totally. And I think that so much just goes into having patience. We live in this world of we need everything instantly in every capacity. We can thank Amazon to the Amazonification in many ways of expecting it like yesterday.
Right.
Um, but also like having patience across all facets of the business, whether it's as you're planning your business or even to get your first sale. Like to get your first sale as a brand new business is hard. Like it takes some time, but then you start to figure it out and you get some time rolling and you get more customers and they tell customers. You have to have some patience, and everyone, they're so quick to, oh, I want to start this business, and then they don't see success immediately, so then they leave. It's like, no, you still got to put the work in and make it worthwhile, for your customers, and then have some patience with it.
I've always heard from some really smart people, fail quick.
Mm,
But make sure you have the numbers and make sure you're doing everything you can. And not like I'll give you that example with the soap. I could have pulled back saying I didn't like the sales, although they were okay. And success could be around the corner.
mm,
And I've seen and heard about this. I had a mentor talk to me about that. Don't quit right away. Like try to figure it out, because success might just be around the corner. Now, if that doesn't work and it still sucks and your sales suck and you can't figure it out, then it's time to fail quick. But
mm.
don't fail just because the numbers aren't there when you first open up your store and you're trying to figure it out.
Yeah, I think it's just realistic expectations and having a
Yeah.
plan. It's interesting, like the most, successful customers on our platform are really the ones that have a business already. And whether that business is them being a beauty professional,
Yep.
makeup artist, a barber, you name it. It's still a business. You're offering a service, kind of what that means to run a business, or it's all the way through to having an existing brand that you want to add on line extensions, and you kind of know what to expect, and they start with a real plan and they understand that there's true business needs that are there, not just a brand new thing. Just I'm going to slap my logo on it and just going to sell because I have 10,000 people on Instagram following me. It doesn't work like that.
Do you know why most brands fail? Because they don't think beyond their first product? Listen to Adam as he explains how smart sellers expand their brands. Well, going back to your 450 different product SKUs, this allows a company, because a lot of the times people see a great product, but they're
Hmm.
not thinking the next step. It's a chess move, and they're not thinking breadth. And all of a sudden, I can only expand really to these 2 products, and then I got to figure something out. If I want to get into beard products, and all of a sudden you have that, and I want to get the balm, or if I want to get the oils or whatever you're selling, and if it's there, it's so much easier to say, okay, I'm going to come up with XYZ beard, products, and now it's there for me. So that's another thing about what you're doing with this white labeling concept. There's 450 SKUs. Create a brand around whatever products you want, and you can expand that.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where we do see a lot of success is they start really niche. Exactly. Like say a beard oil, for example. And then all of a sudden they've got customer loyalty, they've got repeated orders, they have all this stuff. And they're like, you know what? Let's test out adding on some skincare. Let's build that in. Let's do like a face wash. And now we can combine those two and then just keep layering them on. And it works really well.
I'm an Amazon guy, and this works extremely well with D2C as well. So why don't we talk a little bit about the D2C side of things, the Shopify sites? How is this changing the game for the D2C market?
Yeah, I think it's just ease and low risk overall. Because we're an app in the Shopify ecosystem, as well as Wix and a few others. It's really simple, like minutes, right? You click the button, it installs, you change up your brand however you want it in the platform to customize the product, and you publish. That whole process, if you were to add a product that was not through a platform like ours, you'd have to figure out can you integrate directly to a warehouse that you have someone connected to, or is there some hacky way that you have to do that? So there's that. We also, for us, the integration, we push up all the information for the product, including all the custom images and everything like that. So that's, the description, the recommended pricing, the benefits, all those different pieces. Really, you don't have to do anything. You can just hit go and have it published right away. And so it's pretty easy when it comes down to that stuff.
I like the idea, what you said about the spa or the barber or the independent pet store. They have a captivated audience. So for them to go out and do a white label, first of all, if you're going to a spa or if you're going to the barber, you're trusting that company already. And if they do have a product out there, it could be like, you're going out and you're paying and you're getting that chocolate bar. Oh no, I'm going to get that beard oil or whatever it is suggested by the barber. In fact, by the way, I have a really great beard barber. So he does the old straight edge for my hair because I have no hair. I let it grow sometimes, but he does the straight edge. And he has this incredible beard oil. He doesn't sell it.
But you wish he did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why not? It's just an added value, right? Oh, you like that? You like the smell? Okay, here's the balm. Here is the oil. You're all set.
I think, you touched on the most important thing there. There's this trust with this person, right? And this relationship, and that's community. And therefore, anything he tells you for what the service he provides, you're going to be like, cool, where can I buy it? Like, I trust you. Let's do this.
The other marketing to this too, I can see would work really well. Everybody's talking about creator influencer, and working with these nano influencers. Well, what's the benefit of working with a nano influencer?
Well, small, you're going to, sure, but trust, smaller community, lower cost.
Yep.
Everything.
Sometimes they just want the product, which is crazy. It's freebies. And you get that user-generated content. All right. Exactly. I'm not sure, but I'm sure there's going to be a lot of questions about this. Kels, if there are, we can screen them now. And I'm just going to say one more time, if you're interested in today's giveaway for the Wheel of Kelsey, put in Wheel of Kelsey, hashtag Wheel of Kelsey, tag 2 people, you'll get a second entry. And we should get back with Adam in a second. Oh, Adam, how do people contact you or check out your app?
Go to blankabrand.com. So BLANKA brand.com. We're on all the socials. You can find me directly on LinkedIn if you want to give me a shout. I'm happy to answer. And that's about it.
Fantastic. All right. So one more sponsor, and then we'll be back with the Wheel of Kelsey.
Start, scale, exit, repeat. I'm Colin C. Campbell, and I've started over a dozen multi-million-dollar companies in the last 30 years. I spent the last 10 years writing the book, Start, Scale, Exit, Repeat, to figure out what it is that these serial entrepreneurs do over and over again. We interviewed over 200 people. We created 58 chapters, over 30 illustrations, 180 callouts, and we quite frankly made this book for the ADHD entrepreneur. It's been #1 on Amazon in 15 categories and has won 12 awards globally. Get your book today, either on ebook, paperback, hardcover, or Audible on Amazon or your favorite bookstore.
All right. And that's my buddy Colin. Check out that book. I know a ton of people actually that listen to the show that have got it, read it, and are now working using his workbooks. I am as well. Adam, it's been so great having you on. This is a topic we haven't really talked about. So hopefully you get a little bit of business out of this as well.
Yeah, I hope so. Thanks so much for having me. It's been great chatting. I look forward to maybe seeing a lunch with Norm brand pop up on Blanka here soon and see the orders flowing through. I feel like we could get an oil. We have a beard growth oil, and go from there.
I just might
Thanks so
order
much.
some of that cedar and cigar or tobacco. So thank you, Kels.
Yes.
I forgot to talk to Adam about this. I don't know if you knew this, but when we had our factory over in Taiwan, so we did a lot of arts and crafts, and then we were looking at buying another factory, which we did. And it was to make the ink dispensers for ink pads. We all of a sudden became a beauty company. We were doing Yves Saint Laurent, eyeshadow, Chanel, you name it. And we were producing all of these cases for these beauty companies. It was like overnight. We were doing all of these new things. It was really cool.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
All right. So that's it for today. We're going to see you live next week. We have a WhatsApp group. We have an incredible newsletter. If you're looking for a little bit of entertainment as well as information, check it out at lwn.news. And we have a Facebook group. And like I mentioned at the beginning, about a month now, we've had our Reddit group, or subreddit, I think it's called. I don't know. Kelsey's teaching me this stuff. All right, that's it for today. We will see you next Wednesday, and hope you learned a lot. See ya.
Lunch with the